The viewers for television shows, they want to follow the story. They want to follow what's going on. So, Hollywood producers are not paranormal investigators. And it shows sometimes because of the way they present things, the way they think that people will take this. We have been told by producers that they say the masses are asses. And they're talking about you guys. Now, we don't agree with that because we watch television just as much as everybody else. And we know, especially in paranormal investigation, that you have to show it exactly how it happens, because if you don't, your critics out there are going to say, you didn't do X, Y, and Z, when in reality you did. You lose credibility. People say, you know, people watch you and they do things that you do because they see you, but if they're not seeing you doing exactly the way you did it, maybe that's not right. So we're going to talk about a couple of our most popular episodes, ones that were really good and we were a little upset with, and ones that were really good that we were real happy with. We'll start out, has anyone ever seen our show? For those, if you haven't, or if you want to check it out, they're on Netflix, and actually it's a really huge seller on Netflix. So all 26, 2 seasons, 26 episodes are out there. But we'll start off with one of our favorites from season 1, it was the Granbury Opera House and John Wilkes Booth. Okay.
Portrayed it in the show is not exactly how the events happen. So we actually, Brad and I and Steve Harris were in the Opera House the first night we got there, investigating. We're by ourselves. We're doing the taunting. We're doing, calling John Wilkes Booth out. We caught the EVP that night. The first night we were there. In the show, you see the second night. We put on this big, huge, we get the crowd from the town. They get there. We kind of have an experiment where the crowd's going to rev up the energy. That all happened. So that, but they portrayed it that the EVP is caught by Steve Hawk in the Ghost Lab while the crowd was in the audience. That's not true. It was caught the night before. We didn't catch it yet, though. The night before, that EVP session where it was caught on audio, Steve Hawk was listening to it on our off time, catching up on evidence. He happened to find something. Brad went to the Ghost Lab. He reviewed it. Out popped John Wilkes Booth. The way they portrayed it was that it was said while the crowd was in there. You won't believe the emails we got. That was someone in the crowd that said it. You know, and your whole thing was tainted. That you have to throw that out because of the crowd. That's not how it happened. And we are the ones left to answer the masses of people emailing us every day. Hundreds of emails just dogging on us and slamming us and just calling we're idiots. And you have it out there when you're in television.
I think there's more Monday morning quarterbacks in the paranormal than there is in the NFL. And we would just get roasted. But we were honest about it. We said no, and we would tell people this is how things transpired. We wouldn't hide behind the fact and say, we're not answering anybody. We were always very transparent with these kinds of things. The funny thing about this too is like I said, when we watched it, this is how it happened. And as soon as that happened, as soon as I saw that they portrayed it as the crowd was there when we got the EVP, real time, I knew it was going to happen. And we had to do a bit of damage control on our own for no reason, other than the producers thought that people won't understand that we brought a crowd in and nothing happened. When in reality, that's probably the best thing to portray, is that we tried something and nothing happened, or we got something we weren't even trying. So we always have to make sure that we always kind of kept the thumb on the producers as much as we could, but then again, that just didn't always happen. A second example of this, and this kind of thing happened all the time. They'd switch events, and I don't know if you know this, but a lot of times you'll see, I'm standing in the Ghost Labs behind me, and I'm, I was in that room, and we heard that voice, and I really wanted to get up there and find out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That was, those little OTFs is what they call them, were filmed months after the investigation, literally in a hotel parking lot in Live Oak, Texas. The production crew were coming down.
Okay, guys, you're in Alcatraz now.
I literally got
now you're in La Bahia.
I literally got on 1604, Loop 1604 in San Antonio. On the access road, there's a big stone wall in the overpass. They stood there, and the camera got right in the angle. That's the wall of Alcatraz. You know, here at Alcatraz, you know, all this stuff's going on. But they really have to do that because a lot of times in the moment when you're there, you don't get those transition moments to transition from one scene to another.
They're called pickup shots, and along the way of filming, you have pickup days where they'll have a list. Okay, we got to capture all these transition shots leading up into the next scene, and we have to do them. You're not going to fly us out to Alcatraz again. We have to do them right by our hometown, in front of the Ghost Lab. We're in the Ghost Lab. That's why the Ghost Lab is so important, because you can film a lot of stuff in there. You never know where you're at.
And as you think, it's like, wow, these guys are they're well versed, and they speak well, they know what they're talking about. Did it look like I was reading a cue card? I was, a lot of the time. But those are the words that we wanted to say. And it's just the producers would help you, say them in the right way and things like that. But there's a lot to this, that you just don't see. At the end of the night of every investigation, we'd have to do these OTFs. Where basically the producer would be one cameraman, they would take Brad somewhere, they would take me somewhere, and be a producer, a camera guy, and they would say, okay, when this happened, what'd you do? And I would say something. Okay, when that happened, what'd you do? We had to go through the whole 3 days.
Oh, wow.
And just me and Brad, everyone else is at the hotel. I mean, it's like 3 in the morning, Brad, like, I did this, no, this way. What's the A on?
Put the emphasis on and on that one.
Discovery Channel was a great channel beyond, but they didn't like Brad and I because we didn't take their shit. We're like, we had these big executives and they're so used to people just bowing down to them that we're like, no, that ain't gonna work. Like, we're not down. They couldn't stand it. We actually called them. I mean, the executives, they're like, why is this guy calling me? Yeah, it's like, because I want to have some answers and this is the way it needs to go. So that could be some of the reason why our demise are like, let's get rid of this Klinge brother. Too much. But the second example of this is, remember the episode in Lake